Section 4. The Fall of the Roman Empire. By the 3rd century A.D., Rome suffered from many problems and needed to see drastic economic, military, and political reform. The peace in Rome, or Pax Romana, ended with the rule of Marcus Aurelius in 180. From there, succeeding rulers didn't know how to manage such a large empire. Due to this feature, Rome's economy began to weaken. Barbarians or outsiders came and ransacked Rome and its provinces. No new expansion was acquired by succeeding rulers after Aurelius. Therefore, there was no new resources to back their gold and silver. Without new silver and gold, they could coin their money was coined with less of that silver or that gold, which resulted in severe inflation throughout the empire. Agriculture also took a hit. They overused the land, and it became non-fertile. Much of it was destroyed in the war. An example would be the Punic Wars with Hannibal. Famine and disease is also widespread. Not only was the agricultural side of Rome affected, as well as the economy, but military and political turmoil also hit. People's loyalty no longer went to Rome and instead went to their military commanders. Mercenaries were used for their army at little pay. There was a great loss of patriotism among citizens as well. This graph in your book shows you a number of features that contributed to the fall of Rome. They are broken down into columns or different areas such as political problems, social, economic, and military problems. But the immediate cause of the Roman Empire, or the fall of the Roman Empire, was the invasion by Germanic tribes and by the Huns. However, the empire did survive for another 200 years due to a division of the empire. Diocletian was the first to do this. He ruled in 284, and he did so with an iron fist. He helped to fix prices in order to control inflation. He doubled the size of the army, and he also claimed to be a descendant from ancient gods. He created elaborate ceremonies to present himself as godlike. His major contribution to the Roman Empire was splitting it into East and West. The East was controlled by Diocletian and included Greece, Anatolia, Syria, and Egypt. This area was Greek-speaking. The East also had the empire's great cities and trade centers. The West was Latin-speaking, and it included Italy, Gaul, Britain, and Spain. Constantine was another emperor of Rome who ended the persecution of the Christians. He also moved its capital. You can see this on page 174 in your book. Constantine controlled much of the western part of the empire up until 312 A.D. He continued the same social and economic policies that were carried out by Diocletian. He then moved to control the entire empire, including the east. There's also a map on page 175 that shows this. In the year 330, he moved the capital to Byzantium. This is in present-day Turkey along the Bosporus Strait. This was a great location for trade as well as defense purposes. This is also at the crossroads of East and West Roman Empire. He renamed that city Constantinople after himself. This became a very powerful city, and power in Rome began to shift to the east from the west. The west would eventually fall, and the east would survive. The eventual collapse of the Western Empire would take a number of years. The reasons for the fall were many. There were many internal problems, such as bad leaders with no succession policy. There was a huge separation from the east, which was the most prosperous, and they also suffered from a number of Germanic invasions. Among these were the Huns. In 370, the Mongol nomads from Central Asia destroyed the area. In the year 410 A.D., Rome was plundered for 3 days by the Huns. Attila the Hun was the leader of this group. These groups were united under him in the year 444 A.D. He used 100,000 soldiers to terrorize both halves of the empire. He terrorized 70 cities in the east, but he failed to scale the walls of Constantinople. In the west, he advanced against Rome in 452. Famine and disease, however, kept them from conquering the city of Rome. Invasions did continue after his death, however, in 453 A.D. The exact date of the fall of Rome can be pinned at 476 A.D., when Romulus Augustulus, the last emperor, a Roman emperor, gave up the throne. After his fall, the East survived and prospered and carried on Greek and Roman culture until 1453, when the Ottoman Turks invaded the area. Today, The Roman Empire has a great cultural influence. It continues to develop Western civilization today. There are great excerpts in your book on page 177 that explain this.